Hi, I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played, and we're doing MrX's Top 25 Games of All Time, the 7th annual 2022 edition. So, if you want to know more about it, you can go back and watch our first video on December 1st for the number 25 game, where I talk about it a little more. But essentially, I asked a bunch of people to give me their top 50 games of all time, and I used a formula to collect all those and distill it down to this top 25 games of all time. All right. So today we are talking about number 12 on our list. And John, why don't you tell us a little bit about number 12, King of Tokyo?
Sure. So, King of Tokyo is a kaiju themed game where you're all a bunch of monsters like Godzilla, and you're all trying to fight to be the King of Tokyo. And essentially, what that is when you get to the center of the board, you're the King of Tokyo, and you score points the longer that you are in there. However, the longer you're in there, the more damage you're going to take because whenever it's somebody's turn, they roll these dice, and there's different icons on them that do different things, activate special abilities. And if you're talking about expansions, you can get even more in depth than that, but essentially, what they're trying to do is they're trying to be able to jump in Tokyo to supplant you so they can start getting points and or trying to do enough damage to you that they can knock you out. So it's kind of a pressure luck game in the sense of how long do you want to stay in Tokyo, how long do you want to try to get points before you beat feet and get out of there, and also just kind of the luck of the roll. You're rolling, you're keeping some dice to the side, you re-roll the rest, you can roll up to 3 times, and you're just trying to get the most you can out of your turn. You hand the dice to the next player and they keep going. So it's a very much it's kind of like a party game almost, and that there's strategy to it, but it's kind of a simple game. You can break it out, easy to explain, really eye-catching theme, so it really helps draw people to the table. Great for getting people into the hobby, and just kind of a neat game, like a Amerithrash game where you've got more theme than gameplay, so to speak. But there's a lot to it. The components look really cool, and it's a neat concept that really isn't replicated in any other game.
Yeah, King of Tokyo shows up on a lot of people's lists. It usually shows up sort of further down, so it doesn't usually make it into sort of the aggregated top 25.
Mhm.
Although in 2018, it was actually number 4.
Yeah,
But otherwise, it's missed the list every year. Well, until now. So yeah, some people describe this as like gamers Yahtzee, right? Because you've got the
sure.
whole re-roll the dice 3 times. Did you get the set that you want to score the thing that you want? They made a more gamery version of this game called King of New York.
Mhm.
I don't recommend that. Some games just don't need a gamery version of them. This is
You
one
just
of
got to
them.
lean into what it is, right? It's just a fun dice chucking game, and the more you try to get away from that to make it strategic, the more you're getting away from what makes it what it is. So play King of Tokyo. It's some fun dice chucking action, and it's not going to be more than that. And honestly, you don't need more than that.
Yeah, I will say that it does have a very popular expansion, though, which is the power up cards.
Yep.
Because normally when you're playing King of Tokyo, and there are a lot of monsters that come in the base game, but then there are a lot of promo monsters out there, and there are a lot of packs you can buy of extra monsters. And those monsters, they're all the same, right? It's just art.
Yeah.
Is the only difference. You get a cool looking standee. You get to pretend that you're a Gigazor or whatever the heck you want to
Yeah.
be, a King Kong, or Kong King, whatever his name is.
Hmm.
So it's cool that you can have all those extra ones, but the power up cards actually give you special abilities for those characters. They're not technically tied to them, so you could use any power up deck with any standee if you wanted to,
Yeah.
just to mix things up, which is also nice, I guess, if you don't have power up cards for some of those promo characters. But I like to play just the base version, whether or not you play with power up. I will say that I have the what is it called, the Dark Edition of
Hmm.
King of Tokyo. So they made a version which is darker. In the gameplay is exactly the same asterisk, but the art is sort of darker. And I like the art style in both versions. But I thought, well, I'll just buy the dark version. So we have the darker artwork. It did have one extra thing though, which is this wickedness track. So normally in the game, when you roll a bunch of ones or a bunch of twos, they just give you points. And that's
Hmm.
not that great, but now you can use those to move up on the wickedness track and get some special powers. That wickedness track was actually so popular, some people made like a print and play version of it, so you could just play the base game with the wickedness track.
You just had the track.
Now they've actually come out with an extra promo that is the wickedness track, so you can just go buy the wickedness track from the dark edition for the regular edition. So that might be something that you might want to add to the game, but really, you don't have to add anything. But there are some extra things out there for you to think about. I played this with my kids. They got the game. They didn't like it as much as I hoped they would like it. But it definitely wasn't, too complicated for them. They did like getting the energy and buying the cards. Definitely some people play this game differently, because some people play, like I want to get to 20 points,
Mhm.
I want to get, that's how I'm going to win, right? I'm just going to strategically try to do things to score points off the dice, or or getting in Tokyo, getting some points and getting out, or whatever. But other people are just like, I'm going to win this game by being the last man standing, right? It is just
And that's fully
punch.
feasible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
just
punch
live.
everybody else till they're dead, right?
Interestingly, like you mentioned King of New York, I wouldn't recommend that if you wanted more of King of Tokyo. I would recommend checking out Dice Throne though, if you want a more strategic version of King of Tokyo, less cartoony, but still superhero based, dice chucking fun, special ability activation, but it takes it to a different level. So if you're looking for fun and zany, do King of Tokyo. If you like it and you want to try something else, check out Dice Throne.
Yeah, that is spot on, because I actually like King of Tokyo the best out of all of them. But if you think you are interested in King of New York, just check out Dice Throne instead. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So all right, cool. Anything else about King of Tokyo, John?
I think that about covers it.
All right, good. Well, I'm Steven. That's John. This is MrX's Top 25 Games of All Time 2020 edition, which is, of course, a contest. All right, so if you want to enter the contest, how do you do that? It's real simple. You go to the comments in the YouTube section down here below, and you tell me what your favorite kaiju is. What's your favorite giant monster? Or small monster, whatever, that's fine, of all time. And if you have any thoughts about King of Tokyo, you let me know what those are. But otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow with another one of these videos. So until then, thanks for watching.